Hi, my name is Santiago Pineda, and I'm going to make a debate about dangerous sports. But before the debate starts, I just want to tell you that from the last video of the 10 people that I interviewed, uh, most of them didn't want to appear again or help me in this video, so I had to change those people. But it's still 10 people, and that's all. Um, so let's begin. Maria Jose, what do you think about dangerous sports? Do you think that they are fun? Do you think what do you think about them? Do you like them? Tell us about it.
I think that dangerous sports are very interesting. I think that they're important for some people because of the chemical effect that the sport produces on them. Some people need risk in their life that it is a way to expel all those problems that they have in their life. I think that they help the society. Some people need adrenaline to live, and that's a correct way to express it, not in a violent way, as we can see in other countries that make terrible actions just to feel something. Dangerous sports help to have control in our society, and it should be promoted by the government or schools to encourage people to do those activities and to lose fear of making that specific sport.
Thank you, Maria Jose. Laura, do you think about the dangerous sports are that dangerous?
Well, I consider that dangerous sports are activities that require a lot of care, since, as its name indicates, it involves danger. However, it's not a reason to be afraid of carrying this type of activities, since they are part of life and they are necessary to have a more rewarding life. I think that in general, all sports are dangerous, starting from soccer till skiing, and well, they all present danger, no matter how insignificant the sport may be. Whenever a sport shows danger to human health, it means that there's danger, and well, making it a dangerous sport.
Thank you, Laura. Now, Sebastian, do you think that dangerous sports are like specially determined for certain people?
Dangerous sports are fun, but for the people who like those kind of activities, for example, for me, those activities are very dangerous, and must clarify that the danger depends on what sports are you practicing, and do not agree with what they say as general. All sports are dangerous. Dangerous sports are activities where you put your life at risk. This means that it becomes dangerous when the probability of death increases considerably. I do not see that sports like football is dangerous, even if it's a contact sport, and it's not dangerous since it does not threaten a human life. That's what I think.
Thank you, Sebastian. Now, Luis, do you think that dangerous sports are like labeled for some people, like that some people just can't do these activities, or do you think that like the society has uh, established like imposition that only a few people can do this?
I believe that here people are establishing that only string sports are the only sports that involve danger. For this reason, I totally agree with those who say that sports like footballs, skiing, parachuting, or even Dakar Rally generate some danger. They are right that some of the riskers than others, but that does not take away the danger to less the risk. People must be aware that the danger is present every time, and when doing any sport, this danger increases. It's important to highlight that safety measures when performing a sport, since if you are not careful when you're performing a sport, such as ski, archery, or javelin throwing, you can provoke a tragedy. That, that is why it's important to mentalize and be careful when performing any sports.
Okay, Luis, thank you very much. Now, Juan Sebastian, do you think that dangerous sports are important in human life? Do you think that we need them?
I believe that dangerous sports are necessary in life. I say this because I believe that sports in general help to combat sedentary lifestyles and prevent a lot of diseases. Sports are dangerous, whatever, but they also help in health, help avoid high cholesterol, obesity, and cardiovascular disease. However, there are problems when performing these sports, generating generating a danger to health, but this only happens if precautionary measures are not taken into account in the sport, or if the sport is carried out in an erroneous manner. It is important to be aware that sports are something very beautiful for the human being and that it is not good to think they will be dangerous for one, but that they will help in some factor of life, either in health or in discipline.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, this question is for two people, Luis Enrique and Santiago. Do you think that dangerous sports are important for the human health?
I don't agree with what you have just said. I don't consider that dangerous sports only apply in sports that involve a high risk of death. All sports generate a danger, even shoes that possess a metal hazard. However, the danger is put by each person. It depends on how everyone wants to take it. If you are responsible, then don't think that there is danger present. People who ended up suffering an accident is because they were not careful enough and didn't measure well the risk that may be when the activity is performed. The same happens in football and similar sports. You know the necessary equipment to play safely. You must follow a regulation for some reason this exists. The rules exist to fulfill them.
Okay, go on, Luis Enrique.
I believe that dangerous sports are necessary in life. I say this because I believe that sports, in general, help to combat sedentary lifestyles and prevent a lot of diseases. Sports are dangerous, whatever, but they also help in health, help to avoid high cholesterol, obesity, and cardiovascular diseases. However, there are problems when performing these sports, generating a danger to health, but this only happens if precautionary measures are not considered in the sport, or if the sport is carried out in an erroneous manner. It is important to be aware that sports are something very beautiful for the human being, and that it is not good to think that they will be dangerous for one, but that they will be helpful in some factor of life, either in health or in the discipline.
Nicolas, are you agree with the last statements?
As its name suggests, a risky sport entails a danger that can have a negative impact on health. But all physical activities can carry that risk. It is something that must be considered. The relationship between the benefit provided by the exercise and the risk it entails. In this case, it depends on each discipline. In risk sport, there are usually more chances than benefits, but those can be minimized. There are other risk sports that also provide a very clear physical benefit. The high altitude monitoring is an example. It is very dangerous, but the previous preparation to which mountaineers are subject those benefits the body. As the most trained, it to resist in areas with low oxygen concentration. That's why I think you should leave your fears for these sports and invite more people to do it, because only the negative results are shown, when in fact they have a very big positive impact on health.
Now, Alberto, do you think that dangerous sports and extreme sports are the same thing?
Extreme sports and dangerous sports are the same thing. The only thing that causes difference between these is that extreme sports generate more adrenaline and people tend to feel more fear when doing them. For this reason, they do not have such common practice. However, extreme sports are dangerous sports, as well as soccer, basketball, even golf. All sports generate danger, but there are no reason to reject them. In general, sports help the union of the people who have the most difference since they are fighting for a common goal. One more reason to say that sports like soccer are dangerous sports is that you can generate fights and off field, even people who tend to see that sports can end up involved in that danger. For this reason, I think that sports are all dangerous because they show the passion of a person and they can make mistakes by being blinded with this passion.
Now, to finish, Juan Andres, what can you conclude about everything that everyone said before?
It has always seemed logical to me that there are professionals in all sports, even though from time to time there are risks when putting them into practice. Risks that may be minimal or of great importance, depending on the type of sport chosen. In some, such as football, injuries occur in any of the bodily clashes with opponents, some unintentionally and others with the manifest desire to go to the contrary, or by totally logical and predictable accidents, such as falls in cycling races that can become deadly. More than one time, here are so-called high-risk sports that emerged, such as some of the skiing, some of the certain versions of paragliders, the same raid of Dakar. But as they said before, it is important to be careful when performing these activities. It is important to know that you are risking your life, and therefore it is important to be mentalized that you must be careful to practice these sports. You cannot do this only by being brave and having a lot of nerve.